A lot of Bulls fans are happy that we finally have a core. They played well together towards the end of the season, and maybe we can continue that towards next season. But should we? We're going to talk about that right after this.
This is your home for all things Chicago Bulls. Join the conversation. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
What is going on, Bulls Nation? So we are now talking about our core, young core. For the most part, the two guards that we do have, because Matas undoubtedly is a part of the core, and also there's no risk in keeping Matas because he's in a rookie scale contract. The biggest question mark is our two guards because they're both up for extension. The question is this two guards that we have in Coby White and Josh Giddey really a core for the future for the Bulls? Or are we just getting in love with our own players here? So we're going to dive deep into this. So right now, both are kind of projected to make around $30 million each, which is not a bargain, but it's also not overpay. That is just in line with how much guards are getting paid in the NBA. Starting guards, Jalen Suggs, Quentin Grimes. If you want a starting caliber guard who doesn't suck, then you're gonna have to pay $30 million. And we have a pretty good player in both of them, in both Coby White and Josh Giddey. The question is pretty good enough for the Bulls? Or is pretty good gonna net us a future 6th, 5th seed, and maybe a star player would want to play with these two guards? Or would this be continued to be 7, 8, maybe, at a max 6 seed, get bounced out of the first round, and then for all you know, they're older, they're in the 3rd year of their contract, we're middling again in the middle of, the draft, not getting star players, no players who want to sign here, and then our draft picks at around 15, 16, 17, 18 pick. Do we want to continue that? Or do we want to lose some of our best players? So we have I kind of look at this team like the San Antonio Spurs back in 2018-19, when they have Derek White, young Derek White, DeJounte Murray, and Keldon Johnson. Pretty good, solid, young core right there. Looking back at it now, Derek White turned out to be a pretty good player. Keldon Johnson still is a pretty good player. DeJounte Murray is a pretty good player as well. But what happened was when they were showing flashes back then. Keldon Johnson was in the USA team. Derek White, we know he's a solid 3-and-D guy, very reliable, doesn't make mistakes. And DeJounte Murray looks like an all-star, and he became an all-star eventually. He looks like a very good two-way player, a floor general. He can do it all, and a star in the making. At that time, that's what Murray was. And then what did the San Antonio Spurs do? When it's about time to pay those guys, they capitalized. Because they knew that none of those guys were number one. So before you sign big role players, big money, you gotta get the guy first. Otherwise, if you keep on signing role players or a sidekick, a B and a C player, maybe you won't have a chance to sign the A. So what happened was, when it was time to pay White, they traded him. When it was time to pay DeJounte, which is, if you were San Antonio, wouldn't it be nice to kind of pair him up with Victor Wembanyama? But at that time, they didn't know. They didn't know they were going to get Wembanyama. It's a risk. If they keep Murray, then, they might not get him because they might win some games. And also, do you really want to pay a guy that's not going to, get you any closer to being a contender year in and year out, that much money? And that's what the Hawks did. They traded for him, and nothing happened. Why? Because he is not a number one guy. I don't see Coby or Giddey as number one guy. They're very good players. Are they foundational pieces? They're good enough to be a part of a winning team. The question is, who is going to be that guy? Because I just don't believe in what Arturo said, where you're going to have 8, 7 good guys and, that's going to be enough to win. You need a superstar in the NBA. This is not the NFL. Is that going to be Matas? Maybe. But I'm not going to bank on the young guy. If anything, the San Antonio Spurs did was they signed Keldon Johnson. He's the one that they kept because he doesn't command, I would say, that much assets when it comes to trade, and he was pretty cheap as well. They signed him for 20 mil, but to invest 60 million on our backcourt that has question marks in it. Because the best case scenario for this backcourt is that they bring us to the 6th seed. And I hope I'm wrong. Like, if we sign both of them an extension, 30 mil each this year, for 5 years, are we going to have enough on 2026 to bring in the guy if already like 30% of the cap is allocated within these guys? Technically, you could, because you can still have, because our books in 2026 is so just stripped off that we could sign one more max player. But what if that max player would be, I don't know, let's just say the guard from the Lakers, Luka Doncic. Let's say he wasn't happy with the Lakers and he decided not to pick up his option, test free agency. And now how are you going to dispose one of the Bulls guard? Are you going to play 3-guard lineup? Like, that's what Billy Donovan wants. Just hypothetical. Or for example, if you sign both guards for 30 mil each, and then it became a disaster, like somebody got injured and the Bulls just lost a ton of games, and now they're gonna pick a new, they're gonna pick a high pick next year, and then that high pick just happens to be a guard, whether it's shooting guard or a point guard. You still pick them, because you're lacking that guy. But how are you gonna trade one guy who's making 30 million now? We said the same thing when we signed Vooch and Patrick Williams to a team-friendly contract. By all means, Patrick Williams' contract is not bad. He is bad. But now, good luck trading that contract. Good luck trading Vooch. We said Vooch is doing double-double. He's double-double machine. Played like an all-star. We still couldn't trade a guy. That smoke with Golden State wasn't true. They wanted Jimmy Butler. So now how are you going to trade a 30 million guy now? Pretty much most teams have guards. Do you really want, especially if we have a down year? I don't know. I'm still all for signing one of the guards. Which one? It depends on the Bulls. You make me pick Josh Giddey. If you have an option to change, I would say to trade Coby White for picks, I would gladly do it. Now, he's not going to do the DeJounte Murray, kind of return, which is 3 first-round picks. But if you can get 2, hey, I'm all ears. I am all ears. Because it's very, very risky to sign 2 guards that we've seen their body of work. They got smoked by the Heat. When it matters the most, they got smoked. So I don't know. Call me crazy, but I would keep my options open. I'll keep the books open. Get some, younger players or a different player. Spread out the love. And I'll call it that. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.